Running simulation on your local machine can take up a significant amount of computing resources and bogs down your other job functions. And so today, we're going to be going over how to set up remote computing in Moldex3D so you can run your simulations more efficiently. Normally, when you go to run an analysis in Moldex3D, you'll be using what's called the local host. The local host will be installed automatically, and when you go to hit run on your analysis, it will use that local host to run your computation for you. However, you can actually set up additional connections to run simulations externally, and once the simulation is completed, that will involve an upload of the simulation data to that machine's domain. The simulation will run there using the version installed, and then that information can be downloaded back to your machine. So you can review the results and so on and so forth. But in order to establish a remote computing connection, we first have to complete the installation. So let's go over real quick how the installation works for this remote computing setup. I've connected into this remote machine, and so I'm going to open up the installation package for the version that I want to install. In this case, I have the 2025 R4 OR version. And I'm just going to go down to the setup down here at the bottom, which is just the normal application that we would use to install Moldex3D. I'll hit OK to accept the language, and then we'll accept the terms and conditions. Now, there's two ways that we can set up these types of installations. Typically, we're going to be using a floating type installation for a remote computer. So keep in mind that this is the remote machine where the analysis is going to be calculated, not necessarily the local machine where the results are going to be viewed. So we're just using this for its resources. And so usually the license is going to be located either on the local machine or on a third server machine where the license would be stored. All right, so we'll input the floating licenses IP, and then we can hit next. All right, and so this is our product selection where we get to select what we actually want to install. And so there's two options that you have for remote computing. We're interested right down here. If you haven't already, you would obviously want to install the solvers, which would be this first checkbox here. In this case, I already have that installed for this version. But down here, there are two options. We have either the remote computing component or the cluster mode remote computing component. My recommendation is always to use the second one. The second one doesn't require a domain login and password. If you want to use that route, then you would use the first one. But my recommendation is always to use the second one here. I'll hit next. All right, I can put in any account name that I want here. I'll just put Alex Laptop, and then we can throw any password that we wanted to hear. There is a limitation probably by your IT for what characters you can put into the password here, but from Moldex3D's side, there is no limitation. The only limitation here is that you need at least 6 characters and beneath 20 characters for the account name. The password can be whatever you want it to be. All right, I'll hit start, and that will install the remote computing component, which functionally is going to be the job scheduler program. And that job scheduler is where we're going to establish all of these accounts and is the vessel for where the computation is going to be managed on this machine. Once that installation is completed, it'll give you the option to restart your machine. You don't necessarily have to restart your machine immediately, but it is recommended to restart your machine in the near future. I'm going to finish out this installation. And now that we have the remote computing component installed, we can go to the job scheduler program, which if I go to my start menu and scroll down, and we should see the Moldex3D job scheduler 2025 in this case, because I've installed the 2025 version. All right, and when I open up the job scheduler, we can see that that account that I created during the installation is already established. And this service is already running. So theoretically, I could go and set up my account and this connection on my local computer. But before I do that, I'm going to hit create so that I can create a new account. So maybe I have my laptop and I also have another desktop that I want to compute from as well. So we'll set up this account information. And then right below that is the max jobs. So this is how many jobs that this account can queue. So from an admin perspective, you can limit the number of analyses that a user can submit and run to free up the resources for others to run the simulation on this same machine if it's a high performance computer or something that has a little bit higher power. Right, I'll press OK, and that will establish that account. One last thing in the job scheduler program here is the jobs tab. The jobs tab is where all of your analyses are going to show up. So you'll be able to see what the status of each of those runs are in the jobs tab. This is particularly useful when you have multiple users computing on the same machine. This will allow you to see what the queue is for jobs that are scheduled to run on this machine, so you know when your simulation will be ran and approximately when you could expect it to be completed. All right, so now that we have the setup completed on this remote machine, we can go back to the local machine to complete the setup. And that connection is going to be established through the computing manager. I'm going to hit new to create another connection. All right, I'll input the host name. In this case, I'm putting in the name of the machine. You could also use an IP address, but the host name ends up being a little bit more consistent, especially for situations with dynamic IP addresses. I usually like to use the host name here. I'll input the account name that I just established on the job scheduler, and then we can put in that password that I used. All right, I press OK, and then it creates that account, and then hopefully the status says available. If it says something like the password is not correct, or if it can't connect to the machine, maybe you want to restart the remote machine or something like that, you can also give us a call at the Moldex3D North America office in Farmington Hills, Michigan, and we'll be happy to troubleshoot any sort of issues that happen here. All right, so now if I want to run the simulation on this machine, all I have to do is highlight the row here. I'll hit connect over here on the right side. So now when I go to run my analysis, I have two options. I can either just run the analysis right away, or I can hit computing manager, and that will queue the simulation before it runs. And the reason this is important is because you can actually go in and change the task number that you want to launch with. So in this case, the max task for the machine that I just established was 12, and the default number that I have running is 15. If I were to go and hit submit here, it's going to come up with a message, and this is a pretty common message. It says the number of tasks is greater than the maximum tasks of the server, indicating that the maximum number we could run here is 12. This would be the number of cores that we're running the simulation on. Being that the server machine only has 12 cores, it will just automatically reduce the number to the max task of the server machine. And so it'll reduce down to 12, and then it will launch the simulation. Now that the simulation is running, it'll go over into the monitoring tab, where we'll be able to see the status. And then we see all of the queued up modules. If you double click on the main header of this simulation that's running, you'll be able to see a running log for what's actually going on. And this is really useful for keeping an eye on the simulation and seeing what the status is. Thank you for watching this Moldex3D installation tutorial for remote computing. If you have any suggestions for future topics, you can leave those in the comments down below. And you can subscribe to the Moldex3D North America YouTube channel to get notified of when videos like this are posted in the future. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your week.